Meet sailing yacht Avanti and her crew, Gerard and Jacqueline. We left Cape Town in December 2021 on our floating home, heading west on an adventure of a lifetime around the world. We arrived in Cocos Keeling on a weekend and have been cleared in by the police, but now it's Monday morning and we have to go to Home Island to pay our mooring fees, check out the Coco Malay village, its people and their heritage, and it's about a 2 nautical mile journey with Blasoppie.
We might have the smallest dinghy, one of the smallest dinghies, but Blasoppie handled it like a champ, and I mean, it's so beautiful. I could stay here forever.
Similar to all the play parks we've seen in Australia, mainland. Yeah, there's always a play park when there's Aussies involved. And they have similar creepy crawlies than in Australia.
Whoopsie, we came on a public holiday. It's a big trip, so we're a bit bummed that it's not open today, but we'll just have to make the trip tomorrow to come pay our mooring fees. At least we can have a little bit of a walk around, but most of the things are closed.
We were actually in luck. Home Island was celebrating their 40 years of voting for self-determination and being freed from the previous owners of the island and integrated into Australia. That meant that we were going to see some sailing races on their Junkong boats. With no keel, they can be tricky to sail and even harder to keep the water out. These boats were used in the past to sail across to West Island, where the larger coconut plantations were located.
There are about 600 people living here that are mostly Coco Malay people. That's ancestors have been brought here as slaves by the coconut plantation owner. We make our way to Oceania House, where the Clooney Ross family lived for generations. This is the first time we've come to a country or town with limited internet and solely relied on people telling their stories rather than reading it up online.
The house is filled with pictures of the family that started the coconut plantation way back when. Alexander Hare arrived first in 1826, but after some developments, Captains Clooney Ross settled in 1826 and later took control of both settlements and continued harvesting coconuts and producing coconut oil. We see pictures of the Clooney Ross family bringing the Scottish heritage and mixing it with Malay culture, making some unique traditions like Muslims performing a Scottish reel dance at celebrations. But after a visit from the UN, it was decided that the Coco Malay people were treated like slaves, and the island was purchased by Australia from the Clooney Ross family, and the majority of the family left since, with coconut harvesting and production completely stopped.
For anyone visiting the islands, the house can now actually be stayed in, and the rooms are absolutely beautiful. The sailing race brought everyone together, and it was one of the last races of the season before the stronger trade winds kick in from mid-June. We enjoyed sitting and talking to one of the older locals that still worked for the Clooney Ross family. He was a teacher and shared how he wasn't allowed to teach certain topics and that life was hard in those years. They were paid in coins that could only be used on the one shop on the island. After the races, the locals went to prayer, and after the prayer it was time for a food market, where the local ladies cooked up a storm, and all sorts of meals were for sale. Curries and sautés, sweets to chilies, there was something for everyone, but it sold out in under 20 minutes.
The last race was the open class, where you could use any size sail and any amount of crew. Even more people had showed up and were cheering their favorite boat. Sadly, one boat capsized in the stronger wind away from the island and had to be towed all the way back.
As it was getting later in the afternoon, we had to make our way back to Direction Island and missed the end of the race. We were back early the next day to pay our fees and get fuel. Fuel is only sold 3 days a week for an hour in the morning. Well, the supermarket is really well stocked with non-perishables. I'm really impressed, and it even had a lot of fresh stuff. It's really expensive though, but at least a lot of good things. The hardware store is also well stocked, and it looks like you could get pretty much anything here. So really impressive little place for restocking Avanti. But in saying that, there's only one little restaurant where you can get lunch on a weekday, so not much to do on the island if you were a tourist heading this way, except for the tour of the Oceanic House. There's a library and a walk to the cemetery. So other than the marine things to do, snorkeling and diving and kite surfing, everything water-based, there's a lot of options and it's beautiful. But if you don't like water options, it's just a really beautiful place to come and read your book.
Now that we're done with the admin and exploring Home Island, we can head back to the tranquility of Direction Island and explore the crystal clear waters that we have all to ourselves.
Join us next episode as we hold on tight through some strong winds and explore West Island in search of a very important part that breaks while our focus has been elsewhere. We also set sail for Cocos, also known as Bayat. Thank you to our Patreons for your contributions to our journey. Remember to give our video a like and leave us a comment below.